What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode. I have got sidetracked and put the car back together for the moment. I have got the dumps all finished and wrapped up, ready to go. Well, they're not dumps because they go off to the side, but those bits that come off the back of the turbo are all done and wrapped up, ready to go. But what I'm going to focus on now is putting on some lights. There's a few events coming up that I want to go and do, and I can do it with the bonnet exhaust, so why not? But they are at night time. I do need to see where I'm going. In the past, I have cut the back of the headlights out, so there's actually nothing in there. So what I'm going to do is go with some trusty Ironman lights. I'm going to try and, well, the idea is to mount them along there. I'll put 3 of them in here. Not enough to restrict airflow, but certainly punch out enough light that I can see when I'm going around the track. For now, the events that are at night time, they're okay with bonnet exhaust, and plus it looks extra cool at night time with flames coming out the bonnet. And in a good way, not that bonnet fires, because I've had that and that was not a good flame out the bonnet experience. But hopefully that doesn't happen again, and we'll move on to the next part. I have had lights on in the past, but they didn't last long enough because at a track event I had to get towed, and long story short, the front end got ripped off and so did the lights and get dragged through the infield. But anyway, not to dwell on the past, I'm going to put some fresh ones in there. I'm going to have to redo the wiring because it's never been set up properly. I've not ever had a relay in there, which is not ideal. The idea is run 3 of them in here. I don't think I'll fit 4, and 4 might be overdoing it. I'm going to run 3 across there, make it so that they're removable. I'm going to make a bar with just a few bolts and a plug. That way I can unplug them, take them off. I'd like to have them on all, well, no, I wouldn't like to have them on all the time. They look hell dumb, so I don't want to do that. I'll just make it so that I only have it for night events. I'll jump into that, show you how I'm going to do it. I've got a bit of a plan in mind. Down here, I've got some masking tape lined up where I think the bar will need to sit, and another masking tape mark along there. I'll get a bar that comes along, then I'll be able to attach this to the bar. That way they'll all hang down, they'll all be in one piece. 1 plug, maybe 4 bolts, whole thing come out. Easy done. I'm going to do this the hard way, try and get my measurement while the bumper's still in place, because then I don't have to take it on and off 100 times. Not that it's hard, there's actually only a few clips. I'm going to take the bumper off, it's going to be way easier. Okay, bumper off, done. Tape measure, over here, I lost it for a second. Alright, so distance between here and here, that's how long I'm going to need my tube. It is 820. But what I've got to allow for is a plate to sit on either end of my tube so that I can run a couple of bolts through each side. That way I can take it on off. So if I cut that to 820 and I don't allow for the plates, it's going to be too long. I'll show you what I mean. This is what I've been distracted by. Plastics off the Can-Am, which I decided I didn't like the holes, so I'm plastic welding them up. Anyway, that's a whole nother story, a whole nother video. The tube I was talking about, so that has to fit in here, and alright, it's a nice easy fit, and it fits in there quite easily because I've left the extra gap on each end for when I put the plate on there to be able to bolt it in. I could cap these, just run a hole through here, but if I only have 1 bolt, that can rotate, and the light swinging off the bottom will rotate around. So I'm going to make a little bracket off the edge. That way I can use 2 bolts on each end and no pivoting or anything like that. Cut the tube down, cut a couple of end plates there. I'll tack them on the ends, drill a couple of holes either side. That way they will bolt in here and there. That way no twisting movement when the lights are hanging off them. And we'll jump onto that next. Saturday finish, 12 o'clock. Jason's here with his ridiculous looking Hilux, which we test fitted some wheels and they didn't work. Let's go get lunch. Hey Jason, you're on the YouTube.
Oh damn!
It's got some bumping tunes. Back from lunch with Jason. I'm gonna get stuck into these lights. I've got an event on tonight that I need to get down to, so I'm gonna try and blast through this, get the lights on and get loaded up. I've got the plates welded onto the end of the tube now. Normally I wouldn't use my ramps as a makeshift on floor. Well, who am I kidding? Of course I would. I didn't measure out these holes, I just freestyled it. It shouldn't really matter because the holes aren't even there yet, so they don't have to match up to anything. I'm gonna get this into place and then mark out where the lights go along here, and I'll hopefully be able to bolt that on, wire them up and be on the road. I'll measure out the center point here, which should be half of 815. Center point. Probably want to group them as close together as I can with leaving enough space. Mark the next ones out. I've just had a quick thought. These pivot, so I need to be, and the Allen key goes into the side there, so I'm gonna have to leave enough room to be able to get an Allen in there. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I'll remark it and then drill the holes. I've got one light in place hanging off. I've hammered this into place. I'm going to hang the bumper and then make sure this isn't being cut off or it's at the right height. I'll drill my holes in the plate and bolt it into place. Got the top 2 pinning bolts done for the bar. I've got one mounted, 2 more to go, and then I will solder this up to my cable that was from the old light, and I've got the relay inside now that I did earlier. Almost ready to go on the trailer so I can get down to this event. Okay, lights are mounted up, evenly spaced, happy with it. I'll have to adjust at night time because I'm not going to be able to see if they're sitting in the right spot, but I'll do that tonight. Run the 3 wires because there is low beam, high beam. They're more of a glow than a low beam, I think. I don't know how much light they're going to put out, but I've got them on 2 different buttons so that they can come on separately. So I've got my 3 wires there. Tap them in along, join them up, should be happy days. There we are, I'll solder that bad boy in there. I forgot which colour is the high beam and which one's the low beam, and I've already cut all the ends off every one of them, so I'm going to tap this in and test it to see which one comes on. There we are, got it on the first go, white to blue, lovely. I'll electrical tape these up. I hate using electrical tape, but I'm under a time constraint. I would normally just allow and slide some heat shrink over, but not today. Okay guys, that about wraps this episode up. I think I will finish soldering all these well, they're not lines, well they're lines, they're wires. I'm gonna finish soldering the wires. I'll finish soldering those back together, and then I'm gonna load it on the trailer. I'm gonna go have a crack at drifting. So stay tuned for the next video. Hopefully we'll see some action. Getting towed back. That did not go to plan at all.